All right, friends, it's Team Man. We're back with another video. I'm JasonBlaha, man. We're going to react to the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slaves video. Blaha says in this video, moderating training volume reduces injuries. Okay.
Moderating training volume reduces injuries. Hey, everybody, it's JasonBlaha here, and I thought I would chat
Is he looking more puffier than usual? You notice he got puffy, huh?
with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys would please click like down below, I would appreciate it. If you are not subscribed or following, please do so, and if you would be so kind as to drop me a comment down below the video, whether it's to give your thoughts or to just say hello, I would appreciate that also. Thank you so much. All right, this is a topic that we have to discuss in these volume debates. When we look at the evidence, the majority of the evidence, like major studies done on weightlifting injuries, yes, bad form matters. Yes, people trying to lift weights at ego lifting if they can't handle matters. We know this, right? But those are actually not the biggest factor. The biggest factor in injuries tends to be overuse injuries. And this is what the majority of the research shows. And I mean, and I know people who even back this,
at Paradisus by Melia, where you stay.
The barbell medicine guys back this. These guys are medical doctors who compete in powerlifting.
Okay.
Okay, so these aren't,
medical doctors that compete in powerlifting. Okay.
Necessarily, oh yeah, there's just some nerds who don't train. No, these guys are strong as hell, actually. I mean, we're talking 600-700 pound deadlifters, and even they're saying, yeah, this is what
I love Blaha. 700 pound deadlifters. Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, man.
It shows it overuse. Yeah. Overuse is the #1 cause of injuries in the gym, and this is why you still see
overuse is the #1 cause of injuries. I don't know about overuse is the #1 cause of injuries. You're still getting a moderate amount of damage in your body, but it's just repairing. I think people really don't even understand that. I'll explain it again in this video. There are different levels of damage that your body's getting, and there's different parts that get damaged. You're damaging certain things like cardio, this, that, whatever. If you're damaging muscles, they are definitely going to get some damage every time you come into the gym, but it's on such a minute level that it just repairs it quickly. It just patches it up, and then that's it. There's a repair, but there's no remodeling. For muscle to remodel, it has to go through something astronomical for it to even initiate the remodeling stage. You understand me? So these guys lifting like Blaha adapted to the full range. The eccentric is adapted to the full range of motion, being imprisoned by the concentric. So yeah, there's some damage, but it's just patching. And here's the problem. If you're coming in every day, maybe that repair has not really fully completed. And so you keep opening them up, and then they kind of get worse as you go along. And that's where you get injured, because now those so-called micro tears, they got bigger. They never got a chance to really repair because you're lifting 5 days a week, 4, 5, 6 days a week, like Blaha. That's why you get injured. You understand me? That is the real reason why you get injured. You just don't realize it. Some people are just too stupid to understand that, like Blaha. Get it? And that also goes for your ligaments and tendons. They take a lot longer to repair. And also, even if they were to remodel, they take a lot longer. Now, blood does not flow to them because they don't have any things in there. They don't have any blood vessels in them.
Bodybuilders get hurt sometimes who are not lifting, really low reps. You'll see them get hurt, guys who do mostly machines and dumbbells.
Yeah, but you don't get injured because you're overused. I'm overused, so I get injured because I overused something. That's ridiculous. No, it's because you didn't allow your body to repair itself fully. The repair mechanism was not done fully. Look, when it comes to repair, I cannot tell you how long a muscle takes to repair. Does it take 24 hours? Does it take 8 hours, 48 hours, 20, 72 hours. I don't really know. I know in an eccentric exercise, when I get damaged, I know it will take me a week, sometimes longer. It depends. And I usually go off a feeling, but my exercises are always geared similarly the same. So I already know it's between 3, 4 days, the DOMs. And then after that, there's a remodeling stage. And then I come back and I hit it again. So I know 7 days is usually enough for me. Sometimes I might go 10. It really depends, you know. Maybe I got a little bit more damage than usual, but I'll know because I always go off a feeling. You understand me? I listen to my instincts. Unlike Blaha, they don't listen to their instincts. And you may not, here's the thing, not the fact that you're not listening to your instincts, you don't even realize that you got some damage in the muscles and the ligaments, tendons. And so it just really didn't have time to patch up because you came back and hit it again the next day. Like Blaha, he's still using the other body parts. No matter what body parts he's using in the gym, those body parts are, the limb muscles are always engaged first. When he does his back, he's using his arms. You understand me? When he's doing his chest, he's using his arms. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? So the chest area is very vulnerable because it's constantly being used. Whether you're rowing or something, you're still using these muscle groups. So they never really recovered. So he's like, oh, I'm going to do a split day, right? He's doing a split day. But the split day is the other muscles are still getting used and they never repaired properly. And that's where injuries come out. But in Blaha's case, he's just lifting really light now. So he's not really getting a whole lot there. It's not like he's going to get injured. See what I mean? He used to get injured because he was silly. He's a silly rabbit. See what yeah, man.
Cables, they still get hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's because of the extremely high volumes. It's a factor. Like overuse of the same movement patterns, overuse of the same tendons.
It's not from the high volume. It's because, high volume, coming in every day to the gym and never giving your body a chance to repair itself, patch and come back and damage it again and patch it up again. Come back, damage it and repair it, patch it up again. For no other reason than to patch it up again. How dumb is that?
Joints, pushing through pain when you have inflammation. All right, this is what gets us hurt.
I love this one. Pushing through pain when you have inflammation. When you have inflammation, that means there's something damaged in your muscle fibers. So you're going to the gym, you understand me, to inflame your muscles every single day. In other words, when I say that, I mean in the literal sense that you are going to the gym every day to damage your muscles, right? That is, you're thinking, I'm damaging, so they should be remodeling. They don't damage and remodel given your exercise regime because it sucks. It's full range of motion, adapted, whatever. But that doesn't mean it's not getting some structural damage, but it's on such a minute level, you don't really feel it, but what you get is inflammation. You don't get DOMs, but you get inflammation. And that inflammation is because of what? Because there are some small damages in there, but only enough for the body to patch them up, but no remodeling of new muscle fibers. See the difference?
Now, I've always told people I did another video that should be out, might be out the same day, might be out yesterday, in the rotation discussing, rotating movement patterns.
Look, think about it. If you could lift 100 pounds going up concentrically, but you could lift 140 pounds going down eccentrically, wouldn't there not be more gains in the eccentric? Because the eccentric, that's where the lengthening part is. That's where all the gains come from. That's where all the tearing comes. Listen, 140 pounds is heavier than 100 pounds. So going down eccentrically, which everybody's scared of, because that's where all the damage happens to muscles in the eccentric, right? See what I mean? That's where all the strength and the growth and the damage and everything happens. So 140 pounds would most likely trigger your body to do what? To remodel it, bigger and stronger. But 100 pounds going up concentrically in the short range of motion, squeezing, ass cheek squeezing your muscles, it doesn't really respond. Do you understand me? But when you lower it, when you lift it at 100 pounds and you lower it, it's actually kind of going down at maybe, I don't know, it feels like 60 pounds now going down. So it's even lighter than it was going up. It's going down lighter than it was going up at 100 pounds. See what I mean? In the eccentric. You understand me? So when they say 140% going down, or 150 or 140 pounds going down, they really mean that. Do you understand me? Yeah. And you can lower even heavier than 140 pounds going down. You can lower astronomically heavy weight going down. You'd be surprised going in the eccentric.
Just to help with overuse.
But now, if you were weak in the eccentric, which means your range of motion is short because you've been lifting concentrically, right? These heavy lifts, powerlifting, whatever. So you have a loss in sarcomere in series. So now your range of motion is short. You understand me? You don't have any power in the lengthened part. So it's scary for you because you're weak there, because you never built any sarcomere in series. That gives you a longer range of motion. More force production will be produced in a longer range of motion when you build the sarcomere in series. You get it? So you have more force or strength velocity. See what I mean? There's more strength velocity. There's more mechanical tension as well. So it's great for boxing. It's great for running faster. It's great for all athletic endeavors. The best is the sarcomere in series. Why? Because there's more strength velocity involved. So when you connect with something, I don't know, a punching bag or a person or somebody you're fighting with, you're gonna exude more strength. You're gonna exude more kinetic energy. There will be more kinetic energy connecting, exuding more force, okay?
Absolutely helpful. But realistically, what's the best way to avoid overuse is to moderate your volume. And this is something when we've seen these big volumes.
To moderate your volume, the overuse. No, man. Wow, I would recommend that if you were going to come in every day to the gym, you should just go in one day and take one day off, and go in the next day and take one day off and go the next day. You understand me? One day on, one day off, one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. Now that will get you better at lifting, and then you won't suffer so much from the inflammation and the minute damage that you got patching up there. In other words, you're not building muscles, you're just getting better at lifting. You're a lifting slave. So if you want to be a lifting slave concentrically, then come every other day to the gym and you will avoid that problem. Get it? And you won't get injured.
Debates. We've seen these, we've seen the researchers, we've seen the evidence-based people argue this stuff. And what's strange is that you see kind of the nerds are pushing the ultra high volume. And I'm talking a lot of the guys who, and I'm sorry, all things considered, they're not really big. These are not guys with much muscle who are literally the ones saying,
okay. What does that have to do with anything?
20, 30, 40.
That's like you, Blaha. You don't have any muscle. What are you talking about? You're not big.
Sets of muscle group, and it's just like, you guys, who all I'm talking about, and like only one of them is actually big. There's only like one of them, maybe two of them, who have enough muscle mass that anyone would take it seriously on the anecdote. Yet these people are pushing these volumes. And when I saw Lyle McDonald chime in, I know people will say, gee, Jason, he doesn't look like a lifter. Yeah, fair. Smart guy with a lot of super strong clients.
Lyle McDonald, that guy's an idiot.
So again, great coach. He just is not necessarily having the strength or physique.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a poor coach. He doesn't have any experience. It's kind of obvious.
But his clients speak for the knowledge. They get results. Lots of people who follow his book.
They're not really getting results. They're getting results, yeah, concentrically lifting. But they never really got full results. See what I mean? They didn't really. All these people, they think they're building muscle. They're not building muscles. They're building phony muscle, sarcoplasmic like Blaha, non-contractile proteins, bullshit stuff, They're not really building any muscle. I just like watching these people. It's interesting for me. I mean, just looking at them, I watch lots of channels. I see lots of stuff. I just look at them and I laugh because I know what they're doing. It's failure. There's so many channels. They think they know what they're talking about, what they're doing. One guy wrote me now some silly thing in the comment section. He told me, what are you talking about? Eccentric, concentric, da, 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 da. He has no clue about lifting. He's trying to tell me. I've done enough videos on it. I don't have to make more. I have a community section too. I post lots of information there. If he wanted, he could have went there and read all the stuff, the information, or looked around or poked around or whatever. Look, man, I don't have to prove myself. These people, they come around, and all of a sudden, they watch one video and they think they know something about me or something, or they know something over me. Whatever, man. Whatever, bro. There's all kinds of crazy people out there.
I know some crazy, jacked, and strong people who agree with his
Sure.
books and stuff like this.
Look, is he lifting eccentrically? Look how he's lifting. Obviously, those 45-pound plates are heavy for Blaha to curl strict. So look at his elbows where they are. So he's pulling the weight in, and then he's just kind of swinging it out eccentrically. You understand me? So this is an eccentric exercise because it's eccentric, isometric, and back to eccentric. You understand me? There's no concentric. That's why he listened to me in my videos. Why do you think he's doing this? Why do you think he's doing his arms eccentrically? Because he said his arms are never growing. And what do I always advocate? Eccentric exercise will do what? Will build muscle and strength. It builds muscles. So think about it. Why is the one thing he's doing eccentrically is his arms? Other than the dips are concentric, his bench press concentric, his power lifts, whatever the fuck he's doing, it's all concentric, his lifting, the good mornings, everything. But his arms, when he's doing these, the barbell now, heavy. Remember, he used to do 10 pounds, but he's going heavy. See what I mean? Because you can go heavier in the what? Eccentric. See, he could never do this strict form all the way for a full range of motion, concentric, eccentric. Why? Because it's too heavy. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? And so he's doing this. This is a shortcut to get stronger, to get more muscle and to get stronger. Eccentrics. That's what it was meant for. That's what it's made for. It just is like that. It's physics, bro. I don't know how to explain this. Physics is what it is. You understand me? That's like when people say, oh, the Chinese are copying the Americans, their airplanes, or this or that, or the Russians copied this, or the Americans are copying that. Whatever, bro. It's physics. You understand me? There is no other way to make an airplane. They're all made that way. You understand me? There is no other way to make an airplane. They're made like that with the jets and whatever, and that's it. It's physics. So you could say whatever you want about copying. See what I mean? It just is the way it is. Now, like I said, in here, Blaha is doing eccentric exercise. Why? Because he's listening to my videos. Look, watch him carefully. Watch this. Watch.
Always seems to work. So let's give credit where credit is due. He brought up in these.
See? Why can't he? Why is he swinging it back and forth in the eccentric? Because it's easier. He cannot lift that for a full concentric. Why? Because he's weak. He's weak. So he can't lift it for a full concentric. Nobody can. No, none of these lifters can. The other things that they do, it's a lot easier for them. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? It's a lot easier for them to fake you with the other lifts, but they can't fake the curl. Why? Even Levon Sangashvili, when you see him curl that whatever, I don't know what it was, 385 or 400-pound curl, bro, when you see him, it's stuck in the isometric, and then he brings it up to his body. He kind of pulls it, and then he pulls it inward. So it's mostly isometric, concentric. There's no eccentric because, man, eccentric, he couldn't manage that in the eccentric 400 pounds. It's impossible. He could never do a full range of motion with that weight. Nobody can. Nobody on this planet can. You understand me? Here's another thing. It's almost astronomically difficult for this, what he's doing right here, to do this in a full range of motion, to curl this is astronomically difficult. Is it impossible? No, because it's not that heavy. It's heavy, but not that heavy not to be able to do it. But for Blaha, it's heavy. Why? Because he doesn't have any muscle and he's weak. See, that's why he has to swing it back and forth in the eccentric.
Debates that he's like, look, so let's assume that if we're going to all this junk volume, that all things are equal. It's like, if the debate is, well, maybe we might get more out of it, because again, the data on these really high volume studies that are backing it, not all of them do, by the way, it's a major point of debate. Exercise science is a problematic field in general. We know this. It's not the best evidence.
Here's another thing. The older you get, the harder it is to get your body to repair and remodel these muscles. It gets really hard to build muscle as you get older. It's not the same like when you were younger. Yeah, it's not so easy.
Field in terms of the quality of studies or the quality of minds, but But realistically, so some of these studies
And he doesn't lift enough to give his body a reason why it should remodel muscle bigger and stronger. He doesn't give it a reason. He doesn't lift heavy enough, especially eccentrically.
showing that maybe it might be 0.5% more muscle growth per year to go from whatever 15 sets to 35. Crazy stuff like this, right? And as Lyle kind of pointed out, so
He can't admit that I'm right. You see, here's the problem. If he was to admit that I'm right and that he's wrong, then everything that he's done on his channel, the people will abandon him. You understand me? If he was to admit that, yes, eccentric exercise is superior to concentric, like it says in science, if he admits to it, it's superior to concentric, eccentric for building strength and mass, muscle mass, then I don't think anybody would be watching him anymore. You understand me? Would he continue lifting concentrically once he comes out with the truth and he tells you, yeah, it's superior because, so and so and so and so? Would he continue doing that? See what I mean? In order for him to gain muscle and gain strength and muscle in a full range of motion of eccentric, he would have to start doing eccentric exercises. Do you understand me? And so once he starts doing that, you would start questioning him on his channel. Why are you doing that? Why are you lifting like that? But nobody questioned why he was doing his arms like that eccentrically. You understand me? He fooled you because he didn't think you're paying attention to what he was doing there, doing his arms.
realistically, if they're the same, because they're like, well, maybe not, but it might be. It's just an insurance policy.
See how scared he is to go down? He's scared to go down eccentrically. He's not even going down eccentrically. He's scared to go down. Why? Because it's dangerous. Because he's weak there. His muscles are short. He doesn't have sarcomere in series. He never built them. And so every time he does that, he can feel pain in there.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, but what about, he pointed out also the time commitment, but what about the injury risk?
Where do all injuries happen in weightlifters? Concentrically or eccentrically? Eccentrically, get it? And why does it happen? With especially lifters that lift concentrically, because concentric exercise is associated with a loss of sarcomere in series. Now, what is associated with sarcomere in series in eccentrics? Eccentric exercise is associated with a what? With an increase of sarcomere in series. Get it? It's associated with an increase of sarcomere in series. Why? To protect you so you don't get injured. Get it? And you're stronger and faster and everything. Now, what's concentric associated with? A loss of what? Sarcomere in series. So when you're a concentric lifter, anytime you move into that realm of eccentric, guess what's going to happen to you? You may get injured. Get it? You may get injured. Yeah, you may get some damage, but you may get injured. See what I mean? Here's the thing. When you do get damage in the eccentric and you do get these DOMs, a lot of these concentric lifters, they accidentally do something and they get some of these DOMs, whatever, they get more muscle damage than they would usually get lifting concentrically. Well, guess what happens? They were like, you know what? Let's work through the damage. Well, that's even worse. You want to work through the damage? Well, this time it's about to remodel it now bigger and stronger eccentrically, giving you sarcomere in series. But you're going to work through the damage, get it, through the DOMs. And that's where most bigger injuries happen to people. They just get fucked completely. You understand me? So not only do you get it from the repair, you may get injured. From these small repairs, they're not repairing. And then these patches, they get worse and worse over time. It can become fibrotic. Here's what happens. So all you people come into the gym, you repetitively damage your muscle fibers, right? But that damage only equates to patching and repairing. You keep damaging it and repairing it, damaging and repairing it. What happens over time, doing that so many times over and over again, guess what happens? It can become fibrotic. Yeah, because it never had a chance to repair. So now it's in perpetual fibrosis. It's kind of like, it will weaken you and it'll be damaged and it'll be constantly trying to repair it, but it's never repairing it. And you're going to feel pain in those places, really bad pain all the time, because now it's in perpetual fibrosis. And it's happened to a lot of lifters, steroid people, this, that, whatever, you name it, bro. You understand me? And that will be the end of you.
Junk volume causes injuries. Just like for runners, we know that junk miles causes injuries. Doing training that is not benefiting you in terms
Again, I already told you why it causes those problems.
of stimulus anymore does raise injury rates. So if you're going in and just doing junk volume in the gym, 10 more sets than you need for optimal growth, and now it's just junk volume, the tendons and stuff are still getting beat up. They're still getting overused. You're still getting inflammation. And in fact,
they're still getting damaged and they're still getting inflammation. Yeah. And then your body's trying to just repair it, patch it up. You understand me? There's also oxidative stress. That kind of damage leads to DNA damage. And then there's cardiovascular damage. Wow. You're damaging your cardiovascular system and your heart, your whole system. You're causing damage. And guess what? It's not regenerative. Your cardiovascular system is not regenerative. Your muscles are regenerative, but they can become fibrotic with repeated bouts of these small injuries and not allowing it to repair. See what I mean? It can become fibrotic. This is very dangerous what you're doing. You can also exhaust the satellite cell pool. You can exhaust the stem cells. You can exhaust them, which is another bad thing too, over time.
this has been pointed out by numerous people. Numerous people have pointed out with a lot of these studies, they're not doing the studies correctly when they're looking at these high volumes and showing things, because you have to let all the inflammation go down. And when you take 9 or 10 days off, all of a sudden any of the extra muscle growth from the higher volumes does tend to disappear. Why?
Oh yeah, you think so? It just tends to disappear after you take time off. Yeah, because you allowed it to repair itself, to patch up.
Because a lot of it's inflammation. So you're detecting lean tissue.
Inflammation means that something is damaged. Get it, bro? Hypoxia, oxidative stress, and there's some minor micro damages there. Really, it's so minute though, just enough to repair. See what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to explain to you?
But it's inflammation from the excessive.
Yeah, but what is inflammation? Damage. Inflammation comes from what? Damage. Something is damaged there. What's damaged? What's causing the inflammation? Damage.
Training is causing inflammation in the muscles and they're swelling.
Your training is causing the inflammation and they're swelling. Well, when I punch you in the head, right, you get inflammation. Where's that coming from? The punch to the head, right? Okay, where's the inflammation coming from in your muscles? You're lifting weights. What's causing it? Lifting weights, right? Okay, it's causing what? Inflammation. Why would your muscles inflame if you're lifting weights? What would make it cause it? Well, there has to be some sort of damage there. You understand me? There can be some oxidative damage and these small minute damages to the fibers, just only to repair. There's no remodeling there. Get it?
That it's not actually true.
Blaha, look at him. He's looking kind of puffy. The sarcoplasmic. Look at his chest. It's puffy now.
Muscle growth. And people say, yeah, but that inflammation will make you bigger. Not noticeably, no.
No, inflammation, yeah. Listen, because you're repetitively damaging your body going to the gym. And so you're getting inflammation. And so you're like, oh, it's starting to go down. And so you go back the next day to repeat that cycle again. Get it? To inflame your muscles again by doing what? Damaging your body. You understand how stupid that is? And that accelerates aging. Get it? And DNA damage, aging, and a bunch of stuff. The stem cell exhaustion, a whole bunch of bad things down the road.
And it's only temporary. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not.
It is temporary until you do it again the next day. Like Blaha.
Actual muscle growth. It's just swelling from inflammation. And the problem.
No, it's not just swelling from inflammation. The inflammation is from the damage. Get it? You're damaging your body every fucking day. Duh. Wake up, man.
Is that inflammation has its own negative effects. So if the.
Yes, it does. And I posted in my community section. Cardiovascular damage, because you're weightlifting every day now. Every day you lift, you're causing cardiovascular damage. That's why my friend died. He had a heart attack. He said, how did I get a heart attack? I was a sports person all my life, or a wrestler and this and that. Yeah, because He was exercising. Exercises, that kind of exercise is causing damage to your body, inflammation, damage, this and that. You got cardiovascular disease, you got DNA damage from oxidative stress, and you were getting these damages in your muscles, but they were just patching, they were just repairing. Because he never really built any muscle. Because he always said to me, how are you so fucking big, bro? You don't work out. Because I built my muscle in a short period of time using eccentric exercise, overload exercise. And then it was over for me. Get it? I wasn't stupid. I understood that it is bad to perpetually go to a gym like an asshole and damage your body constantly to get inflammation, to chase inflammation, to look puffy and big and walk around and trying to get the sarcoplasm to expand, get it, these non-contractile proteins. So building fake muscles, expanding, inflammation and all that by damaging my body constantly and getting DNA damage, cardiovascular damage, and possibly getting a heart attack and dying too, like my friend. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you, dude? People don't listen.
Muscles are getting inflamed from it. How about the tendons? And that's a problem.
Yeah, the tendons and the ligaments too are getting this damage, but it's only patching. It's only patching.
Because it's the same thing. Do inflamed muscles tear easier? Muscles that have extremely...
Do muscles that inflamed tear easier? Well, they're already torn. You understand? They're already torn. Will they tear even more if you keep coming in often? Well, yeah. You may not give them enough time to patch up. Sometimes they patch, sometimes they don't. Young people, they patch a lot faster. The older you get, they don't patch up so quickly anymore, like the way they used to do. Get it? You're doing too much now, too much overuse.
Elevated inflammatory markers, they're inflamed, they're swelling to protect them.
Yeah, that's right. They're swelling to protect them. They're damaged and they're in a repair now. They're repairing.
Your body is doing that to try to protect them from injury.
No, they're not. It's not doing that to protect them from injury. It's swelling because it's damaged, because it's now in a repair.
Keeping in mind, muscle damage is not an actual stimulus for muscle growth. That used in a whole...
Muscle damage is not a stimulus for muscle growth. No. Muscle damage on a small scale is not, he's right, is not a thing for muscle growth when it's minute. But when you give it a good stimulus, look, I'll explain this, okay, here really quick. I'll just educate you quickly one more time in the community section here. I posted this for you people to read so you can have an understanding why that is. All right. Hold on a second. I got a lot of videos here. Sorry. I have to find it. Okay, here we go. Hold on a second. So these are the three types of damage that can occur through exercise. There's exercise-induced muscle damage, then there's cardiovascular damage, and then there's oxidative stress. And these can be bad, or they can be good, or they can be very bad for you. All right. So this is the one. Yes, minor micro tears. The body will prioritize repair rather than remodeling. Now, while remodeling is a more extensive process, it's not needed for what? Minor damage. So what is remodeling? What is remodeling needed for? For greater muscle damage. You understand me? Minor muscle damage, right? No growth, no remodeling. Massive, right? Extensive damage. There is remodeling. You understand now? The body will focus on restoring the damaged tissues to their original state through repair mechanisms if it's minor. But if it's massive, extensive, then it will remodel the muscles. Get it? That's the difference. Now you understand, because I have to explain this, what Blaha was talking about. Sometimes Blaha, he doesn't really tell you. He's kind of sneaky about that part, get it? So I have to explain it to you people, because people are a little bit dumb out there. They don't understand nothing. So yeah, Blaha is a sneaky dumbass. So muscle repair, remodeling, and regeneration process are triggered by varying degrees of damage. See, varying degrees of damage. Small amounts of damage can result in simple repair, while larger amounts can lead to what? Repair and remodeling. Get it? And extensive, large amounts can cause significant muscle damage that may not fully recover, and that's when you get injured. It may not fully recover. You got an injury. So you got damage, but that damage was an injury, like a massive injury. It wasn't a micro tear. See what I mean? You get the idea. You can read this in my community section, dude, if you want. You can read these. I posted them in there for people to read so they can have an understanding. I don't know. It's up to you, really, what you want to do. But eccentric exercises where a muscle lengthens under tension are often considered superior to concentric exercises. Why? Because this can lead to higher strength gains and muscle hypertrophy. That's why. All right? Anyways, let's go back to the video.
Hypothesis has been debunked.
Yeah.
Okay, muscle damage is not a driver of muscle growth. It's not.
No, minor muscle damage is not the driver of muscle growth. Maximal muscle damage, maximal is the driver of repair and remodeling. That's the difference. See now, you understand?
So this is a case of your body is trying to protect those muscles. So if we're getting all this extra inflammation.
No, it's not trying to protect the muscle, but it will shift to type 1 because the type 2s are damaged now, right? They have some sort of damage there. So something going on there.
Inflammation in the muscles, what then are we doing to our injury risk? It's going up.
It's going up because you have damage there and you're not allowing it to repair.
Muscles get pulled. So again, tendons and
Listen to what he said. Muscles get pulled. What happens when a muscle gets pulled? It gets damaged. Okay.
Of tendons is our major concern, but tendon ruptures are tremendous, but those come from overuse. That's a flat overuse issue. Even if you have a bad form on a heavy lift that tears it, it's usually combined with the overuse that made it weaker.
Listen to what he said. If you have a bad tear, it's usually because of the overuse. Look, let's go over that one more time. He admitted it right here in the video. Watch, listen.
Tendons is our major concern. But tendon ruptures are tremendous, but those come from overuse. That's a flat overuse issue. Even if you have a bad form on a heavy lift that tears it, it's usually combined with the overuse.
A bad form on a heavy lift that tears it? Okay. That would be something extreme, right?
Use that made it weaker. Okay?
It would make it weaker. Yes, it would make it weaker. And then you're out.
So the same thing when we start having this inflammation of muscles. This is when muscle pulls and stuff occur. This is how we get hurt. If you want more activity, go for a walk.
I like how he said, this is how we get hurt.
There's a certain point where
this is how we get hurt. How do you prevent from getting hurt in the eccentric? Build muscle eccentrically.
you go, you don't need that much. And people say, well, how much you mean? For most people, 10 to 12 sets of muscle group a week, I'm going to tell you straight up, is probably all most people are going to recover from. Right? A lot of people don't want to hear that. But if you're recovering from more than 12 and you don't have a perfect lifestyle, you're not training hard. You are flat not training hard with those 12 sets. But yeah, 10 to 12, most people can get massive on 10 to 12 sets. And there was old research before this newest stuff that used to show that muscle growth for most people started capping around 10 sets a week.
Muscle growth started capping around 10 sets a week. Listen to the word 10 sets. That would be overworking a muscle. 10 sets is a lot. 10 by 10 is a lot for a muscle, even if you're lifting in a full range of motion. So what would happen there? There may be more damage than usual. So there's more damage than minor damage. Now, if there's more than minor damage, then your body will say, you know what? I think this was quite excessive. We're going to have to remodel the muscle bigger and stronger now. Get it? See what I'm trying to explain to you? But that would only be because the eccentric is what got overworked, not the concentric, in that 10 whatever, fucking 10 set whatever rep thing of 10 reps or whatever he was doing there. Get it?
Now, does it make sense why you've seen some pro bodybuilders, some of the best in the world, who did 14, 15 sets a week, 16, and are on the Olympia stage? I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it'll adapt eventually. Doing it full range of motion like that, it adapts, and then you have to do more and more and more. It's really difficult. See what I mean?
Most jacked people in the world. Maybe because
they're the most jacked people in the world. They're the most jacked sarcoplasmic bodybuilders in the world. Most of bodybuilders rely on sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. The majority of their gains is sarcoplasmic. See, he's going to convince you that their bodybuilders are jacked because they're building muscle or doing this because they did 15 sets or something. No. The majority Look, while both sarcoplasmic and myofibrillar hypertrophy contribute to muscle growth, they do. It's generally understood that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is more prevalent in what? Bodybuilders. This is because bodybuilders often prioritize training that induces what? A pump, which is characterized by increasing blood flow and fluid retention in muscles, a key factor in sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. See what I mean? So, yeah, that's what it is. It's non-contractile. You can read it here in this section here. It'll tell you, important note. It's non-contractile proteins, yada, 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 a bunch of stuff. All right? So, yeah. Anyways, let me get back to the video again, dude. This video, man, is going way too long.
They trained hard. Granted, there's drugs and genetics, but just throwing that out there, guys. So think about that in terms of your injuries.
I love this. Granted, there's drugs and genetics. There's no genetics. There's just plant genetics. There's drugs.
Let's just do endless sets. Well, why don't you focus on quality? You're going to get hurt less. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today.
You're going to get hurt less. Yep. See, I can disprove everything Blaha says, and I can prove everything and disprove what he says. I can prove and disprove and yada, yada, yada. See you in the next one. Want to know why? Because I got a lot of experience in the lifting world. I have a lot of experience, more than these people have. I'll see you in the next one. Tell us what you think about the like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next video. Same bad channel, same bad time.